are here with David Ufrin from the Collins Aerospace folks, and mentioned when he sat down, I've spent a lot of time behind the screens, and God bless them, because they got me home, and that's all that counts. More important than anything else, they have a position in this industry that is unassailed. They've been around for quite some time, but it's time to get caught up on all things Collins.
Yeah.
Take it away. What's new at Collins? Tell me the good stuff.
So Collins, we've been really working on expanding on all of our really solid technology, right? Like you said, you've been flying behind our glass for many, many years, and we
won't say how many.
We've just been building upon each iteration of that legacy and bringing new pilot tools to cope with ever-changing airspace and needs of pilots, and right-sizing solutions that meet their needs and meet all these wonderful dealers' needs. Yeah. So we focus a lot on the cockpit of the airplane, and also really focus on the cabin of the airplane too. So we have good solutions in both aspects.
The cockpit environment has become incredibly complex and incredibly competitive.
Absolutely.
And not always for the best reasons. Needless to say, you've got some iconic products in that area. I mean, so many of us cut our teeth when we finally got to turbine, and hey, here we go. We're all set and ready to fly now. But that was a time in technology where it was just enough to present the information you needed, and now over the last few years, it's a matter of the manner in which we're presenting information, methodologies, menuing, things of that nature. And you folks have really buried yourself in it to make the changes necessary to keep up with everything that's out there.
Absolutely. So starting, like what you said, the best product at the time for Proline 2, it served the pilots very well for a very long time, and then going into Proline 4 and Proline 21 and now Proline Fusion. Each iteration we thought about safety and how those menuing things were working out. Like, okay, what would reduce pilot workload, make it safer for them to operate, make them more comfortable in the cockpit, in reduced pilot situations and things like that, and that's where we've really been focused. And with our Fusion product having touchscreen technology and non-embedded menus and things like that, with a couple button pushes, you really can.
You simplified it quite a bit from everything I've seen so far. Because one of my bugaboos with a couple of the panel programs that are out there is some of these things gotten very complex, and to make a decision, the old joke was when I was running down to Miami and making a quick trip down there, and they'd switch a runway on me. Well, in Brangie, that's a lot of button pushes, turn knobs, this, that, and that, the other. I was flying a new system at the time from Avidyne called R9 that simplified everything dramatically, and I was amazed at what proper menuing did. And then I'm talking to the folks that are coming up the line right now, especially in the latest version of Proline, and obviously it's something you paid attention to, because boy, there's nothing more important than simplifying the cockpit this day and age.
Yeah, you always fly the airplane first, and then you go back to the avionics after you get there. But we've really made that simple to make that transition to get back into the avionics when you do have an issue like that. Absolutely.
How do you develop a program like Fusion?
So
where do you go?
So first off, you got to see the need in the market space, right? So not every platform is asking for all of that expanded capability. So what we really like to do is solve customers' problems. And if the problem can be solved through our Fusion solution, fantastic. That's what we're going to go do, and we're going to take care of that customer. And we have lots of those solutions in the market, like our Challenger 604 retrofit, King Air retrofit, and the CJ line of retrofits that we offer with Fusion.
Yay, CJs.
Yeah, but Proline 21, it's robust. There's over 8,000 of those aircraft out there flying today. And
Agreed.
with an install base like that, we also have to make sure we're bringing those new solutions to that fleet as well, which is modernized radar, pilot tools, private ICAO, some of those CPDLC and technologies that we're talking about there, that we're really focusing on those two channels to make sure we're giving the best solution for the pilot that needs it.
Outstanding. What do you think distinguishes Fusion above all else right now when you look at the competitive environment, if you had to put your finger on something?
I would say it's simplicity. So the retrofit solution.
My favorite word.
Yes, simplicity. So I always look at Fusion when I'm talking to a pilot or a dealer or something. I said, think of it like this. You can declutter it and make it as simple as you want to operate the airplane, but every time you want to add or stack a feature, you can do that very easily. You can have a full PFD, a full MFD, and another full PFD, or you can split this screen and bisect this screen in various ways, and then touch the information that you want to see. So instead of, well, do I press this button or that button, you touch it, and it's right there. No embedded menus. You configure it for how you want to operate the airplane. So simplicity.
Let's talk about your cabin products a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me what right now is the focus of your attention.
So right now, we're really focused on a good rollout for our Venue Smart Monitor. We announced at the show with Airshow HD.
Yep, got the press review up last night, as I recall.
So the wonderful thing about that product is it's taking what we've done in Venue and Airshow and shrinking it down and making it more accessible to more people. It provides we were talking about meeting the customer where they're at. It provides a moving map, some entertainment options if they want those, in a singular box that makes install less risky. Because large cabin like Venue, you have a lot of planning that goes into that and whatnot. So it just, again, simple, and we're really excited about. We've been talking with the dealers, and they are all really spun up about being able to install one of our cabin products because of it takes out a lot of that extra work.
Well, as bad as the competitive level has been in the cockpit environment, the cabin has become a melee.
Yes.
It's extraordinary, the amount of activity out there, especially since the folks riding in the cheap seats, so to speak, are becoming more demanding by the day.
Absolutely.
It's hard to keep up with that.
PEDs drive a lot of the cabin experience, right? So everything we do does interface with a lot of that technology that's out there. So from a control standpoint or additional streaming options, so we've tied that into our Venue cabin system and whatnot. But with almost 2,500 Venue systems, and then also all the legacy systems we've put out, speaking of being competitive, we have, again, like our Proline, we have such a strong foundation to just enhance everything that we currently do. With the solutions that our customers are asking of us now.
Outstanding. Okay. What can we expect next?
Well, we are really...
Just between us.
Yeah, just between us, right?
Ignore the camera. They're not doing anything.
Yeah. What you can expect next from Collins is we're going to consistently be monitoring what is the needs of the ever-changing airspace. How are we going to adapt our solutions that we have out there and build those into solutions for today and for tomorrow, right? So we're constantly keeping an eye on it. We're constantly getting feedback and pulsing the industry, the dealers and customers to, we'll go we'll work for your solution for you there. Yeah.
A lot of customization.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what it takes these days. It's everybody's different. Everybody has needs, and they want them yesterday.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So it's a tough market to work in. We've been talking a little bit about the climate in the industry right now. The avionics industry has been through some interesting ups and downs. It knows at this point that it's got to really hunker down on the training side because hiring right now has become not the most fun part of the gig.
Absolutely.
AEA in particular has taken the position that they need to get more heavily involved through a certification and training initiative. And we're excited to see what comes of all that. How does this all affect Collins? How do you see your place in this industry right now?
For the training aspect and investing in the the folks of the future, we're always looking to pull in that talent to continue to build upon, help us build those technologies and whatnot there, right? We know there's a talent gap in the industry, and there's a talent shortage in this industry, and we're working really hard to make sure when new people come in, we get them trained up. I've had personally, 15 plus meetings with separate folks that are begging for training from Collins Aerospace, and we're going to meet them there. Whether that's through on-job training, online training that we provide them, or on-site training at our facility. We're going to work toward that.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to look at AEA's new certification and training program?
I have not yet, but I know there's folks on our team that have been looking at it and trying to see how we can more leverage and partner with AEA on that.
How do you judge the overall health of the industry?
I would say it's strong. There is so much demand in at least when I look at avionics right now, just at that subset of the industry, there's so much demand for the products and services all of us build and support. And to the point where shop floors are filling up, demand, lead times and things like that. We have more demand than we can fulfill in a year a lot of the time, and I'd say very strong. The need and want for our products is definitely there, and it doesn't show any sign of slowing right now.
Well, what's particularly interesting is watching the activity in the refit regime, because the new airframes are coming off the line real slowly right now. The demand is high, the waiting list is extraordinary. So people are picking up cherry airframes wherever they can and then detailing them to the best of their ability.
Absolutely. And we have solutions that go along with all of that. Like we've been talking about, we can update the cockpit and the cabin to make those older airframes very viable for a lot of years.
If you had to look at the overall aviation industry and tell them what Collins is right now and things that they don't know, because you're a legacy company.
Absolutely.
And I hate to say it, occasionally get overlooked because, well, you've been out there all this long.
Yeah.
What is it they don't know that they need to know about Collins in 2025?
So new folks coming in, what they need to know is how prolific we are in the industry, right? So many new folks are coming up, flying aircraft that have other avionics systems in it and whatnot. And then once they cross that threshold, right, it's almost all Collins equipment. And they need to know who we are. They need to get experience and take a look at what we're doing and really kind of realize that we are the legacy. We have been here for that long. And
the reason for it.
Yeah, and the reason for it.
I'll be darned. Well, it's exciting to see strong companies with such a long background continue to innovate in this space. Granted, some of that's because everybody's pushing everybody else, which is kind of fun. But at the same time, the one thing that I watch when we see companies taking on certain competitive aspects, when they're getting pushed in certain ways, that they get pushed along aims that make sense. It's okay, everybody's got to have this feature or that technology. How easy is it to use? How does the pilot maintain it? How do you update it? Things of that nature. All these things matter. This is an area where you folks have excelled in the past. Yeah, you've had your ups and downs, but it's obvious, especially with Fusion and other programs at this point, that you folks are bound and determined. I'm glad to see it because, like I said, part of my history too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Wonderful.
Where can people get more information about Collins these days?
So obviously we have a website, but we also have a bunch of talented individuals that are spread all over the country that we can connect you with and train you and teach you anything you want to know about our products. Also, we're showing here at AEA still, so we are showcasing all our technology in the booth, and we are at a lot of trade shows making sure people don't forget who we are and our installed base.
Unlikely. And congrats on the latest introductions, and please keep us up to date. We're happy to make sure that everybody knows what you're doing, and in the meantime, Have a great show, and we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 68th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Phoenix, Arizona, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
The future of USB charging power has arrived. Introducing new, ultra-fast charging TA360 USB chargers. Unlock the power of USB Power Delivery PD technology. Max power. Multiple configurations. In-seat cabin, cockpit, and galley USB power. And a direct upgrade for all True Blue Power USB chargers, compatible with any USB electronic device. Easy to install. Backed by the best. True Blue Power, the USB experts.